What's going on YouTube? Struggling Life here one more time, guys. I've been trying to do this video for the last week, man. It's been hectic. Anyway, guys, you guys already know I'm straight to the point, no chaser, no fluff. This video is going to be about weights. How much weight could you haul in these cans? How many cans could you pull down the road at one time? What is a can? Do a can really look like a can? I'm sorry, guys, I went over the top with it. But anyway, I'm talking about weights, guys. This is a requested video about weights, weight distribution in 40s, 45s, 20s. Might throw a 28 footer in there and all that stuff too, but it's gonna be weight distribution, guys. Like, how much weight could you haul in these cans? And these little things we call cans, I call it the Mad Max of the industry. It's the Mad Max, man. I always say the only thing missing is the leather vest and the spikes. But anyway, I digress. Now, I was told this when I first got into driving pups. They said, well, you can load 1,000 pounds per foot in a pup. You guys know what a pup is. It's a 28-foot trailer. One trailer by itself, 28-foot trailer, we call it a pup. Two of them, we call them twins. Three of them, we call triples or triplets, right? So the guy was like, well, the drivers were telling me, well, 1,000 pounds per foot. Now, in reality, relatively speaking, they make sense. It's like, okay, it's 1,000 pounds per foot. It's 28 feet, so that'd be 28,000 pounds. And let me tell you something, guys. I mean, that's a good concept, but that don't always work out like that. To play it safe with a pup, 27,999. You know what I'm saying? Now, you might as well say that's 28,000 pounds. Anyway, it just depends on. It really just depends on how they load the trailer or how you load the trailer. Depends on how the trailer is loaded, what kind of freight is in there. But you ain't gonna have 1 foot, 1,000 pounds, another foot, 1,000 pounds. You're gonna have long freight, short freight, wide freight. Freight ain't always gonna work out the way you think it's gonna work out. So you can't really go off the 1,000 pound per foot rule. Besides, you can go off the 1,000 pounds per foot. You figure a 45 footer, you get 45,000 pounds in there. A 40 footer, you get 40,000 pounds in there. A 20 footer, you get 20,000, right? I mean, 53, you get 53,000 pounds in there. You can't use that. This video right here is for non-permanent loads, permitted loads. Like, if you ain't got no permits, you ain't overrunning, overweight, overgross. I'm gonna touch on some things on this video. Hopefully it put clarity to it. It's one thing to know some stuff, and it's one thing to actually talk about it, try to explain it. So hopefully it come out right. All right, let's look at it. You're able to gross, in Illinois over here, you're able to gross 80,000 gross vehicle weight rating, right? 80,000 pounds total. Now mind you, that means the box, the weight of the box, we haul a can, so the weight of the box, the weight of the chassis, plus the weight of your truck, plus fuel. Let's just say your truck weighs 16,000 pounds, right there. Truck weighs 16,000 pounds. The can by itself, the box by itself weighs 10,000 pounds, and the chassis weighs 6,000 pounds. How much weight is that? You got 16 plus 10 plus 6. So it's about 32,000 pounds. So you take the 32,000 pounds right here. Some trucks are heavier, some trucks are lighter. My truck weighs 16.5, but I'm gonna say 16 for the video, just for the sake of simplifying it. So 16,000 pounds, fully loaded with fuel. Now, if you really want to get good at this, get an empty can, an empty chassis on the can, with a full tank of fuel, and go weigh yourself. So you can see how much your truck, trailer, and chassis weigh empty. So you can see how much you weigh, so you will know what your weight is. Most of these boxes weigh 10,000 pounds. Most of them weigh 10, chassis 6,000 pounds, most of them. Depends on what type of material it's made of. Some of these things, man, they built to last. But anyway, I don't know if the 53s weigh more than the 40s. But I go off 10,000. That's what I'll go off of. Anybody know what the exact weight is? Leave in the comments below. Take your 80,000 minus the 32. I'm using this for example. You can do this with your own truck and trailer. So you take 80,000, and you minus the 32,000. They'll give you what, 48,000? That means you can hold 48,000 pounds in your trailer. Now, that'll give you a range. That will give you a range, guys. So technically, 48,000 is that. That means you can haul 48,000 pounds max, possibly. But there's a couple factors you gotta factor in now. Axle weight. Especially if you deal with 40s and 20s, you really gotta watch axle weight with that. Cause you could be under gross but over axle. So now let's say you able to haul 48,000 pounds. You really can't haul 48,000 pounds, so now the weight distribution come into play. Weight distribution is how far the load is spread out, and how much weight you got on per axle. Now if you got a single axle, this varies for you. I'm talking about somebody with a twin screw, that means 2 axles, steer tires of course, and a tandem. Not a single axle trailer. I'm talking about like a tandem trailer too. So you gotta factor all these things in, guys, when I'm doing these numbers. I'm doing it off of 5 axles. So if you got tri-axle, spread axle, and all that stuff, I ain't talking about that. That's a whole different calculations for them. But just for a regular 5 axle, tandem tractor, tandem trailer, and a steer, you can have 80,000 pounds gross. But you won't have to pack it up to 80,000 pounds gross, because you gotta understand that you gotta axle your loads, your weight out. 34,000 pounds per axle. So 34,000 pounds on the drives, 34,000 pounds on the trailer, and then 12,000 pounds on the steers. If it's not axled out at that point, you still have a problem. So you could be under gross or right on the money of being gross, but over axle. DOT will still pinch you on that too, guys. So you want to make sure that you don't have, because you're able to haul 48,000 more pounds. I wouldn't do it, because you can have 43,000 pounds in the trailer and still be over axle on one of your trailers or your drives. That's for a 53 or a 40. As far as like a 53 footer with being overweight, you got a little more wiggle room with a 53 footer, because you can slide the tandems back. You slide the tandems forward toward the front of the truck. You slide the tandems that way. It pushes some of the weight back toward the back of the trailer on the back axle. You slide the tandems back toward the back doors of the trailer. It pushes some of the weight toward the drive of the truck. Let's just say it's 36,000 pounds on your trailer tandem on a 53 footer. If you slide the tandems back, probably 3 or 4 holes, probably about 5 or 6 holes, it'll push about 1,000 pounds, 800 to 1,000 pounds on your drives. So one good thing about a 53 footer, you could move the tandem to kind of get the weight right. Now here's the trick with the 40s and the 45s and the 20s. Whoever load that box gotta load it right from the beginning, guys. The only way to get your weight count okay with a 40 and a 20, and I wouldn't recommend it. All these years I've been out doing this, guys, I don't move this. But I'm saying, if you really have to move it, if you're in a bind and you got one of these, you kind of shift some of that weight. Especially if you're over on your steers or you're over on your drives. If you got a sliding 5th wheel, you can move that 5th wheel forward and back. It works just like the trailer tandems. I don't even know my 5th wheel even slide no more. I ain't slid this thing in like 8 years. I don't mess with it, man, because you mess around and slide your weight, your 5th wheel, guys. And when you hook it to these 20s and these 40s, sometimes your mud flaps get tore up a lot. It depends on where your 5th wheel is placed. So I pushed my 5th wheel all the way to the back, and I left it alone. Once I tore up a couple mud flaps or bent a couple of them, I left it alone, man. I ain't finna keep tearing up mud flaps trying to adjust my 5th wheel because of some weight. Skip that. So long story short, guys, this is what I'm saying. So pretty much, guys, is that with the weight situation, whoever load that 40 footer, wherever it's coming from, they have to load that trailer right, guys. You can load 44,000 in a 40, but it gotta be loaded right. You can load 40,000 pounds in a 40 and it could be loaded wrong. They gotta load, somebody gotta know what they're doing when they load them. And a lot of times they don't know what they're doing. A lot of these boxes come from overseas. And overseas they got different regulations. I think sometimes overseas they may say, hey, it's some more space in that trailer, throw some more freight in there. And they pack it out, boy. You get over here, you like, man, I don't know if you guys ever hauled a trailer though so heavy, man, you start mean mugging the trailer. I had a trailer like this morning, man. I looked at it, I said, man, why you so disrespectful? This trailer is just so disrespectful. Like, you know, whoever loaded that thing, they didn't give 2 blankety blanks, you know what I'm saying? They just packed it up and shipped it out. And your boy caught the pass. That's a whole other story. So, but the 40s, 45s, same thing, guys. They gotta load them right. Even a 45 footer, you get a little more playroom because you're 5 feet. Now, that 5 feet make a difference. Believe me, it'll make or break an axle. It'll make you overweight on one axle and less on the other one. That 5 feet makes a difference. But even with the 45s, they gotta load them right too. But definitely the 40s. The 40s, and the 20s. Them two, you have no wiggle room to play. The 20s, that could be a problem. I'm gonna explain what I'm talking about right here, guys. Now, with a 20-footer, you figure if you did the 1,000 per foot rule, which I don't think that's, guys, I think they're trying to send me off, man, because that stuff don't fly. Well, they could have been trying to help out. I don't know, but it don't work for me. So that's 1,000 pounds. So that's 20,000 pounds with a 20-footer. Now I wish all 20-footers was 20,000 pounds. I wish, or less. I wish. Wishful thinking, guys. When I tell you some of these 20-footers being here, man, I would say this. Some of these 20-footers, I think the max you get in the 20-footer is 37,000 and some change, I believe. Don't hold me on that. I don't know if you can get 40 in a 20-footer, because here's the thing with a 20. It's so small, it's so compact, you don't have the space to spread out the weight. All the weight is centered in one place. Even when you slide the 20-footer in the middle, and you like the tandems kind of back a little bit further, and your drives right there, picture a 20-footer like this. Tandems, drives, box in the middle. Tandems, drives, box in the middle. It's all close. A 53-footer is like this. Tandems, overhang, probably some overhang, trailer, drives. 40-footer, tandem, drives, more space. A little more room, 45, more room. A 20, it's all smashed, it's all together. And I'm talking about a standard 20-foot chassis, guys. I ain't talking about a spread axle. I ain't talking about the 20 that extends to a 48-foot. I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about a regular rail yard chassis pool 20 with some 1020s on it. Some of them got some 11Rs, but most of them got 1020s. Some 1020s rolling right there. Speaking of 1020s. But anyway, I digress. So with the 20-footers, guys, you want to make sure they load it right. Now, whoever loaded 20-foot, they really got to load them right, because if he loaded too top heavy or too whatever, if more than one side than the other, them 20s will roll when you turn. And when you turn with them and they super heavy, if it's loaded too much to one side or the other, them things flip over, man. That's why people wonder why the 20 flips so easy, because if the weight not right in them things, they load them things a little off, man, it'll throw everything off. So with a 20 in a quote unquote correct world, I would say about 37,000, 35,000, kind of be okay. You'll be able to axle it out. So it's a good chance you could be over axle very easily with a 20-footer. So remember that 48,000 that's left? Let's say you weigh a 20-footer empty can with a chassis and your truck fully loaded with fuel. Let's just say you weigh it and it come up to like, I don't know, let's say 30,000 or let's say 28,000. Now you're able to haul 52,000, right? Now, do you think it's smart to put 52,000 extra pounds in a small compact trailer like this? Or should be over axle? Now, some cases where you'll have a heavy load, a super heavy load, you can play the fuel game with that too. You could probably put up half a fuel tank, and you can run, because there's been times where guys have got loaded and they forgot they were so close on the low weight they wouldn't fill it up. Now they overgross. So that's when you play the fuel game. You fill up half the tanks if you could. Don't fill all the way up. If you want to kind of squeeze it out a little bit longer, go half tanks, get it past a couple chicken houses, throw some more fuel in there, because you know the diesel is about roughly 8 pounds per gallon. So I can see how much you weigh. Now it may be off a little bit. I think it was around 8 pounds per gallon. So a gallon of diesel, 8 pounds. So if you want to do the math on that, it's ways you could kind of wiggle around some of this stuff. Because there's gonna be some days, man, where you gotta wiggle around, you gotta play with that fuel. Because if you get too much fuel, you will be overweight. You gotta hope you burn some of it off before you get to the chicken house, because you will be over. Because, you know, the extra 100 gallons of diesel, it took you over the top. You know what I'm saying? Because you was just that close. And also too, here's another thing, guys, too. Rule of thumb: don't trust the weight on the J1s. Some rail yards don't give out J1s no more. So if you got an app, use the app. Don't always trust the weight on the app or the J1s. If that trailer says it weighed 10,000 pounds, I picked the load up the other day. It weighed 25,000 pounds. That thing was 43,000 pounds. How you get that far off from 25 to 43? That's a big difference, man. You know what I'm saying? Good thing I knew what to do, because I've been doing this game a while. And besides, when you bump to a trailer and you pull it, you feel a weight on it. You're like, they lying about this. This is a lot. 10,000 pounds on my foot. 10,000 pounds plus 30, that's what's in there. So you really can't trust the J1s like that, guys. So I thought I'd break this down. This is a requested video. Shout out to the subscriber who requested this.